Ladies and gentlemen, most people wake up every morning with a routine so familiar that they never stop to question it. The alarm rings, they get dressed, they rush to work. They do what is required. They collect a paycheck, and then they repeat the same cycle day after day, year after year. Busy, tired, and often frustrated. Busy, yet not always progressing. Tired, yet not always fulfilled. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the uncomfortable truth. Being busy is not the same as growing. Many people work incredibly hard on their jobs, but very few work intentionally on themselves. They perfect their tasks, meet deadlines, and satisfy their bosses, but neglect their minds, their discipline, their skills, and their vision. And slowly, without realizing it, they become dependent on a job instead of becoming valuable as a person. Let me ask you a question that may change the way you listen to the rest of this speech. If your job disappeared tomorrow, would you still be valuable? That question is not meant to scare you. It is meant to wake you up. A job can be taken away. A position can be replaced. A company can shut down. But the person you become, the mindset you build, the habits you practice, the character you develop, those things stay with you forever. And that is why this message today is not just about work. It is about life, ladies and gentlemen. Your job is not your greatest asset. You are. The world does not reward people for effort alone. It rewards people for value. And value is not something your job gives you. It is something you build inside yourself. When you grow in confidence, communication, discipline, and thinking, your income improves. When you grow as a person, your opportunities expand. When you stop growing, everything else stops too. Many people spend years asking for better jobs, higher pay, and more respect, yet never ask the most important question: how can I become better? Because the moment you start working hard on yourself, your life begins to change from the inside out. Stay with me until the end of this speech, because what you are about to hear is not motivation for one day. It is a way of thinking that can change your future. You will discover why personal growth is the foundation of success, why income rarely exceeds self-development, and why the greatest investment you will ever make is not in a company, a business, or a position, but in yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not just a speech to listen to. This is a message to live by. One of the biggest misunderstandings in modern life is this idea that a job is security. From a very young age, we are taught to believe that if we get the right education, land a good job, and work hard for many years, everything will somehow work out. And while a job is important, here is the truth most people never hear clearly enough. A job is never your greatest asset. You are. A job is simply a place where you express your value. It is not the source of your value. The moment you confuse the two, you place your future in very fragile hands. Companies change, technology replaces roles, economies rise and fall, but the person you become, your skills, mindset, discipline, and character travels with you everywhere you go. Think about this for a moment. Two people can have the same job title, the same working hours, and the same opportunities, yet their results can be completely different. Why? Because results do not come from the job, they come from the person doing the job. When you improve yourself, everything you touch improves. When you sharpen your thinking, your decisions get better. When you improve your communication, your influence grows. When you develop discipline, your consistency increases. And consistency, ladies and gentlemen, is what turns average effort into extraordinary results. Many people say, if I just had a better job, my life would improve. But history proves the opposite. When a person becomes better, they naturally find or create better opportunities. The marketplace is always searching for people who can solve problems, lead others, and add value. Those qualities do not come from job descriptions. They come from personal development. Here is a powerful idea. Your income will rarely exceed your level of personal growth. You don't get paid for how hard you work alone. You get paid for how much value you bring to the table. And value is developed, not demanded. It is earned through learning, practicing, failing, adjusting, and growing. Imagine two workers. One does only what is required. The other works on their skills, reads, learns, improves their attitude, and becomes more reliable every day. Over time, one remains dependent on the job while the other becomes valuable anywhere. If opportunity knocks, it knocks louder for the second person. Ladies and gentlemen, working hard on your job will make you a living, but working hard on yourself will give you options. And options are power. Options give you confidence. Options give you freedom. When you invest in yourself, you are building something no one can take away. Education can be outdated, but the habit of learning keeps you current. A position can be lost, but strong character makes you rebuild faster. Skills can be improved and mindset can be strengthened, but only if you decide that you are worth the effort. So stop asking only, what does my job require of me? Start asking, who must I become to be more valuable? Because the moment you understand that you are the greatest asset you will ever own, you stop depending on luck, bosses, and circumstances, and you start building a future that grows stronger with time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where real security begins. In a world that is constantly changing, many people build their confidence on fragile things: job titles, positions, salaries, and recognition. They feel strong when everything is going well, but the moment circumstances change, their confidence collapses. Why? Because they built their lives on external success, not on internal strength. Here is a truth that deserves your full attention. Skills can be taken away, positions can be lost, money can disappear. But character cannot be taken from you unless you give it up yourself. Character is who you are when no one is watching. It is how you respond to pressure, disappointment, and uncertainty. It is the inner compass that guides your decisions when the path is unclear. And in the long run, character is far more valuable than talent alone. Many people rely only on their skills. Skills are important, yes, but skills without character are dangerous. A skilled person without discipline becomes inconsistent. A talented person without integrity loses trust. A smart person without responsibility creates excuses instead of results. But when character is strong, skills become powerful. Think about reliability. Anyone can be talented, but not everyone can be trusted. Think about discipline. Anyone can start strong, but only disciplined people finish. Think about humility. Those who keep learning rise, while those who think they know everything stop growing. Ladies and gentlemen, the marketplace rewards people who can be trusted under pressure. Businesses fail not because of lack of talent, but because of lack of character, poor decisions, shortcuts, ego, and excuses. On the other hand, people with strong character rise again even after failure, because failure does not break them, it builds them. Character is what allows you to stand steady when circumstances shake others. When times are good, anyone can smile. When times are hard, character shows itself. It determines whether you complain or adapt, quit or persist, blame or take responsibility. Here is something powerful to understand. Your reputation may open doors, but your character keeps them open. You may impress people with your skills, but you earn long-term success with honesty, consistency, and responsibility. People want to work with those they can trust. Leaders look for people who do what they say they will do. And trust, once earned, becomes a multiplier of opportunity. Working on yourself means strengthening your character every day. It means keeping promises to yourself. It means showing up even when motivation is gone. It means choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. These decisions are quiet, invisible, and often uncomfortable, but they shape a powerful future. Ladies and gentlemen, life will test you. You will face rejection, loss, and uncertainty. When that happens, skills alone will not save you, but character will guide you. Character will help you rebuild. Character will keep you standing when everything else falls apart. So ask yourself this important question: if everything external was taken away, who would I still be? Because when you work hard on your character, you build something permanent. And when character is strong, success becomes sustainable. That is why the wisest investment you can ever make is not only in learning what to do, but in becoming the kind of person who does the right thing consistently, courageously, and with integrity. One of the most frustrating experiences in life is working hard and still feeling stuck. You show up every day, you put in the hours, you make the effort, yet the results do not seem to match the energy you invest. And so people ask, why am I not getting ahead? The answer is simple, but not always easy to accept. Income rarely exceeds personal growth. The world does not pay us for our needs. It does not pay us for our intentions. It pays us for the value we bring. And value grows only when we grow. That is why two people can work the same job for the same number of hours and still earn very different rewards over time. Many people chase money without realizing that money is usually the result, not the goal. When you focus only on income, you miss the real work that produces it, improving your thinking, upgrading your skills, refining your attitude, and strengthening your discipline. Here is a powerful idea to consider. You don't get paid more because you need more. You get paid more because you become more. When a person learns how to solve bigger problems, their value increases. When a person improves communication, they gain influence. When a person develops leadership, they multiply their impact. Income follows these improvements naturally, just like a shadow follows a body. Ladies and gentlemen, personal growth changes the way you see opportunities. A limited mindset sees obstacles everywhere. A growing mindset sees lessons, possibilities, and ways forward. And the difference between the two is not luck, it is development. Think about this: when you were younger, problems that once felt overwhelming now seem manageable. Why? Because you grew. Your income works the same way. The more you develop your ability to handle responsibility, pressure, and decision-making, the higher level of reward you can sustain. Many people say, if my salary increased, I would improve my life. But the truth is often the opposite. If you improve your life, your habits, your thinking, your discipline, your salary eventually increases to match it. Growth first, reward second. Working hard on yourself means investing time in learning when others are resting. It means reading when others are scrolling. It means practicing skills when others are complaining. These choices may not give immediate results, but they always give eventual rewards. Ladies and gentlemen, personal growth is not about comparison. It is not about becoming better than someone else. It is about becoming better than you were yesterday. Even small improvements done consistently can create massive changes over time. Here is the key question to ask yourself: who must I become to earn what I desire? When you ask better questions, you get better answers. And when you focus on becoming more valuable, the world responds. Remember, this money can come and go. Titles can change, positions can disappear. But the growth you build inside yourself stays forever, and it continues to pay you dividends in every area of life. That is why those who commit to personal growth are never truly stuck. They may face challenges, but they always move forward, because as long as you are growing, your future is expanding. Success is often misunderstood. Many people think success arrives suddenly through a big break, a lucky moment, or a dramatic opportunity. But the truth is far quieter and far more powerful. Success is built in silence through daily habits. Your life today is largely the result of what you do every day. Not once in a while, not when you feel inspired, but consistently, repeatedly, and often unnoticed. Habits are the invisible force shaping your future, whether you are aware of them or not. Small habits may seem insignificant, but they are never neutral. They are either moving you forward or slowly pulling you backward. Reading 10 pages a day may not feel life-changing in a week, but in a year, it can completely alter your thinking. Ignoring discipline for small comforts may not feel harmful today, but over time, it quietly limits your potential. Ladies and gentlemen, the difference between where you are and where you want to be is often found in your daily routine. What you choose to learn, how you manage your time, how you respond to pressure, how you treat small responsibilities. These things don't make headlines, but they make futures. Most people wait for motivation before they act. Successful people act first and allow motivation to follow. They understand that discipline is more reliable than excitement. Motivation comes and goes, but habits stay. When habits are strong, progress becomes automatic. Working hard on yourself means designing habits that support the life you want. It means choosing growth even when it is uncomfortable. It means showing up when no one is watching. And that kind of consistency builds confidence, not the loud kind, but the deep, unshakable kind. Think about this: your habits are always teaching you something. They teach you what you tolerate, what you prioritize, and what you believe you deserve. When you keep small promises to yourself, your self-respect grows. When you break them repeatedly, confidence quietly erodes. Ladies and gentlemen, greatness is not the result of a single decision. It is the result of many small decisions made daily. Successful people don't do extraordinary things once. They do ordinary things extraordinarily well, over and over again. If you want to change your future, don't start with huge goals alone. Start with better habits. Improve how you begin your day. Improve how you use your free time. Improve how you respond to challenges. These small adjustments, repeated daily, create massive transformation over time. Ask yourself this important question: what am I practicing every day? Because whatever you practice, you become better at, whether it is discipline or distraction, growth or comfort. Ladies and gentlemen, your future is being shaped right now in this very moment by the choices you make when no one is forcing you. Choose wisely, choose growth. Choose habits that build strength, wisdom, and value, because one day you will wake up living the life your habits created, and by then it will be too late to change yesterday. Most people want freedom. They want financial freedom, time freedom, and peace of mind. They want control over their lives and the ability to choose their own path. Yet many of the same people avoid the very thing that creates freedom: responsibility. Responsibility is often misunderstood. It is not about blame or pressure. It is about ownership. The moment you take full ownership of your life, your actions, your decisions, your growth, you step into power. Until then, you remain dependent on circumstances, people, and excuses. Blaming feels comfortable, but it is costly. When you blame the economy, your boss, your past, or your luck, you give away control, and whatever you give control to ends up controlling you. Responsibility does the opposite. It puts control back where it belongs. Taking responsibility means accepting this simple truth: your life today is largely the result of your past decisions. This idea can be painful at first, but it is also incredibly liberating, because if your choices created your current situation, then new choices can create a new future. People who accept responsibility stop waiting to be rescued. They stop expecting someone else to fix their problems. Instead, they ask better questions. What can I learn? What can I improve? What can I do differently starting today? Responsibility shifts your focus from what is happening to you to what you can do about it. And that shift changes everything. Freedom does not come from fewer obligations. It comes from greater capability. The more capable you become mentally, emotionally, and professionally, the more freedom you earn. Capability grows only when you challenge yourself and accept responsibility for improvement. Those who avoid responsibility often stay stuck. They wait for motivation. They wait for permission. They wait for perfect conditions. But perfect conditions never arrive. Growth begins the moment you decide to act despite discomfort. Taking responsibility also means keeping promises to yourself. It means doing what you said you would do, even when it is inconvenient. Every time you do this, you build self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of confidence. When responsibility becomes a habit, confidence becomes natural. You no longer depend on external validation because you know you can rely on yourself. This inner strength creates calm, clarity, and courage. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. Freedom is having the discipline to do what matters. It is the ability to choose long-term growth over short-term comfort. It is the power to direct your life instead of drifting through it. Ask yourself this question: what area of my life have I been avoiding responsibility for? Because the moment you face it, improvement begins. Growth starts, and freedom moves closer. Responsibility is not a burden. It is a privilege. It is the price of becoming strong, capable, and self-directed. Those who pay that price gain something rare and powerful: the ability to shape their own future. And that is true freedom. Everything in life requires investment. Time, energy, focus, and effort are being spent every day, whether intentionally or carelessly. The real question is not if you are investing, but where you are investing, because every investment produces a return, and sooner or later you collect the results. Many people spend years investing heavily in external things, jobs, companies, possessions, and appearances, while neglecting the most valuable asset they own: themselves. And yet, nothing produces a higher return over a lifetime than personal growth. Money invested can be lost. Businesses can fail, markets can change, but the investment you make in your mind, your character, and your skills compounds for as long as you live. Working hard on yourself means committing to lifelong learning. It means deciding that growth does not end with formal education. The most valuable people in any field are not those who know everything, but those who continue to learn, adapt, and improve. Curiosity keeps you relevant. Learning keeps you valuable. This investment is not always comfortable. Reading when you are tired, practicing when progress feels slow, reflecting when it would be easier to distract yourself. But discomfort is often the price of improvement, and improvement always pays back more than it costs. Personal investment also means strengthening your mindset. How you think determines how you act. How you act determines what you achieve. When you invest in better thinking, clarity, patience, discipline, you make better decisions, and better decisions create better outcomes. Every skill you develop increases your options. Communication skills open doors. Leadership skills multiply your influence. Emotional control protects your peace. Time management creates freedom. These are assets that work for you in every situation, not just one job or one phase of life. The greatest advantage of investing in yourself is that it travels with you. No matter where you go, who you work with, or what changes around you, your growth goes with you. It becomes your safety net and your opportunity generator at the same time. Ask yourself this important question: if I continue living exactly the way I am today, what kind of person will I become in 5 years? That question reveals the power of daily investment. Small choices repeated consistently shape identity, and identity determines destiny. When you invest in yourself, you raise your standards. You stop accepting what you once tolerated. You begin to expect more from yourself, and naturally, life begins to offer you more in return. The best investment you will ever make does not require permission, approval, or perfect timing. It only requires a decision. Decide to grow. Decide to learn. Decide to become more than you are today. Because when you invest in yourself, you don't just change your income, you change your entire life.